Mic check, mic check. What up with you, boy?
What's up, baby?
How's it going?
Making plays like Phil Jackson, baby.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know what's crazy? I feel like I ain't seen your ass in a long time, bro.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. I don't even remember the last time I seen you.
When I was coming to the city, I'm like, damn, man, it's been like we don't link up that much. You know what I'm saying? Like at all.
All right, we talk often,
Mm-hmm.
but physically being able to see has been a minute, dog. So
Right.
that's the challenge of being older. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you know, my name is Gene Warren from
Yes, sir.
Orlando, Florida. You know, living in ATL.
I might go by. I see the God King checking in again. What's up with it? And today we always have a lot of good conversations, and I want to basically do one in person. The most recent subject me and you was talking about was service in Black community. Was it Black community service or Black entrepreneurship? I can't remember.
You said entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so remember the video, and I'm gonna put the video up where the Black dude was going to he put an order in for like a fish and grits plate or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was showing like how much grits was in there. He said, "Oh, that's all the grits I get."
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. And the
back
girl was like acting like she ain't give a fuck. Basically.
Yeah.
This the only this the I don't get no more grits than that.
That's the grits.
Damn. I usually get more grits than that.
No, that's the grits. I'm the owner.
Damn. All right. Thank you.
And you was telling me an interesting thought about why you thought that is, and you were saying it's like a scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That do you think that's just a scarcity mindset that Black people have in the Black community, or is it just a overall human thing?
I think it's like more prevalent in the Black community than it is in some other communities for a lot of different reasons. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, a lot of people here in America that call themselves Black, right, don't really know, they don't have a place outside of America to call home.
Right.
You know, so I feel like with the other ethnicities and nationalities, you know, that's a major advantage that they have, is having their own language, their own culture, their own music, their own, that's really their own government, you know, and just being able to see people who look and talk like them, you know, have their own.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, that's my take on that. I think that that's a big hit, you know.
And how does that translate into customer service, like a Black-owned restaurant versus like a Asian person selling Chinese food? You know, like is one customer service better? I've been to some Chinese restaurant where they kind of get
terrible service, right?
People come back but they're not as, they might complain, but it's like a temporary complaining.
Right?
They don't stay long.
Well, I don't know. I think like I see Chinese restaurants get away with murder, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Health code, you know, and just the way and terrible customer service too,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But the reason why they can get away with that is, in my opinion, is because they have access to resources.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a infrastructure behind them that's funding pushing this whole thing, to where it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to be here, right? This is not down to the wire for us, right? We have a product that we know we can sell at a cheaper price,
right,
for these other people, and eventually you're going to come back to see us.
So, and I was going to say that I think it might be the consistency of how good the food is and affordability. So you might get mad at them at that particular time, or you might get mad at that one particular employee, you know, but you'll kind of circumvent that and go around them like, yeah, or have somebody, you go in there and get it, because the food, they're strategically placed in good areas where the average person to get tired of eating hamburgers or fries. So in your mind, you automatically think The Chinese food is almost close to home cooked food.
Right, right.
They're consistent and the price gonna be low.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's their formula.
Mm-hmm.
So they know as long as they got that they can win, you know?
Right.
But it's like they couldn't necessarily I think it's a big difference between one of them Chinese restaurants opening up and you taking your money and saving it up and maybe getting some investors or something and starting your own business. You're not going to have the same flexibility that they have in just being able to keep the company afloat,
right,
while still giving, you know, maybe mediocre food and bad customer service.
Right.
Because like you said, they got a location, you know, they got the prices right.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, Chinese people, they don't have like the average Chinese restaurant, they're not gonna have like marble floors, like a grass wall,
right? Chandeliers,
yeah, their budget is gonna be kind of smaller,
right?
And it's like they're not really impressing nobody, you know what I'm saying? But like in a black establishment, I feel like we as black people, we feel like we need to see opulence or some kind of something to. Is that something that we just only do with ourselves, or is it that we kind of with the Instagram, social media life, that now we're kind of like looking around and we like want to feel like we're doing some upper epsilon stuff? And does that mean like as a black entrepreneur, you have to come out with high level decor into your store? And that's like a big part of the budget, I would think, before, and we didn't even get to the chef,
right?
The customer service part,
right? Yeah, yeah, it's
because you think about it, we live in Atlanta, right? And it's a standard of like a black, a nice establishment, right? It's got to look nice,
right?
You know, I never went to somewhere that was like a hole in the wall, equivalent to like what a Chinese restaurant, and then people flock to it.
Yeah.
So it could be like the opulence of the place looks so nice that it kind of takes up for the customer service. What do you think?
I don't think the niceness of a place can make up for bad customer service. You know what I'm saying? I think like bad customer service, like eventually is going to hurt the business enough to where it just doesn't continue to thrive, you know, and grow. So,
but that will also explain why a lot of nice black establishments have like a shelf life of maybe 2 to 3 years,
right?
And then it's kind of over.
Yeah, because it's like if you coming into the business, it's like I said, it's a difference between one of those Chinese people, you getting with the Chinese people, and maybe you're Chinese, right? And you go to your people and say, hey, I want to open up a Chinese restaurant. Oh, okay, go talk to so-and-so.
Right.
Boom, it's done. They're going to get you the building. They're going to supply the food. This is going to be the terms of the agreement.
And they got a support group too.
Right. We know how this works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like just follow the game plan. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? And saying, hey, okay, well, this is my idea. This is my concept. And I'm going to go open up a restaurant. And I ain't never opened up a restaurant before and ran it, right? And so it's not just like restaurant, but it's just kind of business in general, right? Like a lot of people, they want to start a business and they'll jump into it and spend $1,500 on the logo, $5,000 on the website, you know, another $2,500 on content creation or what. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're not going to be able to keep up this pace, right? Business doesn't work like that.
Right.
It takes a lot for a business to be able to be profitable. Some of these big companies, I was just talking about it to a business associate of mine the other day, but like how these major wireless company corporations, right? They don't even know how much, they don't know if they're being profitable or not. So they'll roll out some kind of offer or something, right? And don't find out until 6 months to a year later that it's losing their money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it looked good on paper, but then when you roll it, and this is multi-million-dollar organizations,
right?
You know, so it's you gotta be able to really have a deep understanding of like, yeah, you need to be able to put in almost nothing
Right.
and get something out of it.